doing it.
All right.
Welcome to the KIT podcast, Keeping It Together. We're here to officially come to talk about, this is our last episode. And today we're going to talk about what we did, what we learned, and probably a whole bunch of other things. This is to round off our time together because we had a good time, and we want to signal this as the end of this season, and because we want to mark it as a place that we launch from as well. So we'll reflect on what we've gone through, talk about what it means to us, and what we would hope it means for people out there, and we'll talk a bit about us moving forward. Can I pass it to the rest of you just to give your initial thoughts? Lewis.
Why me? I was thinking about what I was saying.
Okay, Adam.
I was going to say.
Oh, he's got it. He's taking it.
He's still thinking.
I'm still thinking. You go.
It went by fast, I thought. In the beginning, it was we were running late, and then we did a whole bunch of stuff in a short amount of time. I think you were probably involved with, was it every episode?
Every episode except one, I believe. Maybe another one.
But
most of them, yeah. Yeah, no, I learned a lot. It's interesting because we started this, I realized today, almost a year ago, marks our very first episode, which we did in this room. We did that in June.
Was it June?
It's May, so that was almost a complete full year.
Wow.
Which is kind of fun and interesting, and now we all know each other so well.
I think Adam's
so that's
wearing the
nice.
same shirt. Maybe the same.
I almost wore the same shirt.
You said it.
Yeah, but I was thinking on my way here about how nervous I was driving over on my first, to the first filming, and just how I didn't know what to expect. And now that it's all over, I'm like, I met a bunch of new friends. I met some new people that are doing really cool things, and I feel like I've learned a lot about different aspects of wellness and what different people do to keep well, and then I'm going to carry all the lessons I learned going forward. And yeah, what about you, Lewis?
Yeah, I'll take a stab at this. So we've interviewed a lot of people. Who are very passionate about a lot of different things. And honestly, what I kind of learned most about keeping it together is that there's kind of beauty in a lot of aspects of life that you wouldn't really expect to unless you go looking for it, right? And I think keeping it together more than anything is about finding that beauty and appreciating it when you can, right? And I don't know, over all the different topics and different interviews we've done and different people we've talked about or talked with, it really kind of the main theme that kind of stayed with me is that it's really keeping it together is about what you put into it and how you can take something and learn something from anything, right? If that makes sense. I don't know, I'm not wording it very well because I was trying to figure out how can I enunciate that.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah,
everybody engaged with it authentically, seriously somehow. Everybody didn't do the same things, but the things that they did, it was you okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I did cold water swimming.
Getting choked up over here.
Let's have a hot.
Oh yeah, well
yeah, I'm really hungry.
Yeah. 1 year ago we were eating wings.
Exactly.
I figured it was only right to do it again.
All right.
I didn't cook these ones though.
So this is from Sriracha Revolver, which is a Indigenous owned hot sauce company, I believe based out of Vancouver.
Yeah.
And this is the beets and tequila flavor.
So
yeah, I'm doing this cilantro.
So we did have a launch. That was one of the highlights
So
of our time together. Our launch, we had a bunch of us. We play in a band together. The music intro is me and Adam and a close friend of ours, Cosm. recording some stuff, recording some beats and tones, and it was pretty cool. We had that little band, as well as one of our guests who's a musician that night, play some tunes, and we launched a host of podcasts and gave out some stuff, ukuleles, some gift certificates to Safeway,
Beating kits.
and it was a fun night. But what we didn't launch that night, and we didn't share that night, was a bunch of hot sauces. So in our next season, we will have an early launch to celebrate hot sauce and celebrate the episode from this season. And we'll have a bunch of hot sauces to give out that night, and a chance to eat some. So
These hot sauces.
these sauces in
Yeah.
particular.
This one was really good. I just had it. I can't say it was really spicy, but like,
I don't think any of them are super
yeah,
spicy.
I thought this one was great so far.
If you like
try
just
the
a
other
little kick. Now I'm gonna try this one. I like the beet one though. It's nice to have hot sauces that don't burn your mouth. That one's going to.
Well, yeah. A return visitor from that first episode. Remember, we had that Sakari Farms, Indigenous owned and operated farm down in.
You going straight to it?
No. But I just wanted to give it a shout out since we were giving shouts outs.
Try this tequila one.
This is their peach schnapps. We all kind of went along on this ride together, not knowing what to expect. Kind of went from an idea to a planning stage to an implementation stage real quick, partly because of the time crunch, right? But I'd say that we all were kind of naive going into this project. What's some memorable moments that you got out of this adventure?
When I realized that like we weren't gonna have to haul all of the gear in every single time to the office, because the first episode we recorded, like we had everything.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had like all the professional gear. It took us like a couple trips to like get everything in.
And then it didn't work.
And then it didn't work.
So then we just did it on Adam's computer, and it was
fine.
it was fuzzy, but it worked.
Part of that was because of the camera, though. We were just using the.
What do you mean? Like it was like a keep it simple, stupid kind of learning moment for me, I guess. You know what I mean? I mean, I personally definitely tend to like overcomplicate everything. Right? That's just like who I am as a person, but
Yeah, I definitely went into it thinking, I'm gonna have to do hours of preparation before each episode and look at all these fun facts and everything, and then later on, as time went by, I realized that the best way to go about it is to just have conversations with people and just have natural flowing, easy going conversations, and that's where you really get the good stuff. But I'd say one of my most memorable moments was definitely the cold water swimming.
Oh yeah,
And when we got Lindsay to go in.
It's cold. It was really cold.
It was really cold.
I could have got out of there by myself. I was just having it up. My most memorable experience was when I first came into this room on the first episode, and I could smell the fear in the air, and I can see the fear in people's eyes.
that was farts.
scary.
The fear of
What
filming
are we
it.
doing? What are we doing?
I thought it was the fear of maybe the hot sauce, but no, I was nervous.
The first episode.
I was also scared of the hot sauce, and
I
I think it was for good measure. I felt sick for like
Oh,
the rest of
yeah.
the day after that. Like I was rude. Like these are so much more mild.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this one's spicier, but like I just didn't get enough.
Hardly at all.
But like, yeah, the first day I was like, I'm gonna get sick, and then I did get sick, and it was,
Not good.
not good.
Man, but that was actually the second
It
episode.
was because I interviewed first.
Yeah.
And you were scared. And you had fear in your eyes.
Yeah, everybody was
And you were
scared.
like, I don't know what to say.
You
You're
had
used to
fear
being
in
on
your
stage and
eyes.
stuff, but I don't think anyone else.
Yeah, watch that episode again, y'all. You'll see he'll be like, I wasn't really planning on being the host for this, and then nobody showed up that day. Remember, it was like, and then I was like, well, look, man, you brought all this equipment. We're all just sitting here. We got the wings cooked. I was like, we can't just do nothing. He was like, all right. Watch the episode again. The very beginning.
I had to dry my armpits off. What stood out for you? Like topic
One that sticks out to me was the self-care one.
Yeah. Why?
Just super interesting because I think after COVID, me included, but a lot of people kind of stopped trying with their self-care. I know I did. Like I stayed at home all the time, so I didn't get dressed. I would kind of like stay in my sweatpants all the time, and I still do that like 95% of the time before on a
Did you
Zoom
wet your
call.
hair back with water just before him?
Yeah, I would literally like put some gel in my hair super quick and like, try to tidy myself up
That's
before
more than
filming
you would
these
do.
things.
My hair would just stick straight up.
It was so weird. Like, if you were going to meet with Lindsay in the morning, you knew he was going to have some punker hairstyle.
I'd stick straight up. All
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, but talking
You've always been like
to
that. I don't think that was like unique to Code. I've always noticed that. Like, my hair is crazy too, but like it's just like my hair when it's crazy looks exactly like yours. Like when
When
it's
it
short,
gets greasy
right?
enough.
Greasy and short.
When mine is greasy, it's like
Like it sticks up in like little patches randomly.
You know,
Yeah.
Dagwood.
Comes
You
up.
know Dagwood?
Yeah.
Dagwood.
I know
Kids,
Dagwood.
kids.
Isn't that a sandwich?
It is,
It
but
is
it's
a
also
sandwich.
common.
He had a certain hairstyle where it would stick up here and here, and that was
Yeah,
always
like,
my hair.
his hair
every
stuck
day.
out to the side and on the top. Yeah.
I had Dagwood hair. I still do every day.
Yeah. And you still wear sweats to clinic.
That was with Leanne. I'm forgetting her last name right now.
Ireland.
Right. That was with Leanne Ireland. And that one really just like, I think I could have continued talking to her for like another hour after that because I think what she was saying is so relatable to so many people. Like, I know so many people who now, like, we all work from home, so I only wear sweatpants. I don't really get ready in the morning, and it's really made me like second guess my routine because it does make you feel better about yourself when you actually get ready for the day. I know
Does it?
maybe it's different for guys.
Yeah, the ritual.
The ritual.
It literally is a ritual.
It's
We
a
learned
ritual,
about
and
this.
it's good for you to have routine in your life like that, like to have a morning routine. It's good for you. So I have brought that chat that I had with Leanne into my life and tried to practice it, like legitimately practice it since interviewing her. So it's actually really changed things for me, and I do try to, not wear sweatpants all the time and actually get ready,
Yeah, I didn't watch the episode.
And you're wearing sweatpants.
No, but like the next best thing, basically. It's-
Yeah. No, it's a good episode. I recommend it. It might be more geared to women, but I think it's definitely helpful for anybody to have
Yeah.
a routine like that.
I guess I don't really think about like laying out clothes that match and that type of thing. Like all my clothes, I buy all my clothes so they all match. Regardless.
Smart.
Yeah, just like Charlie Brown. You go to the same. You open up my closet, the same set of clothes over and over again. But I appreciate the morning routine thing. Sometimes like you make yourself a cup of coffee.
Thinking about COVID and how all of the policies that kept us physically separate so that we wouldn't transmit bugs onto each other, viruses onto each other, and all of the reactions that humans had about this was very interesting. Because now it's we just go about our business like usual. But just thinking back about how it was and how stressful it was, and the doing something makes a difference, right? Everything that we talked about was a doing something that allowed you to just. So connection was a theme throughout our keeping it together, even as a theme of connection of some sort. How do we connect with ourselves? How do we connect with others in these trying times? And COVID is just one of many trying times throughout the history of Indigenous peoples in North America. So I think that the idea of doing things, what do we do that makes us well, and why does it do so, and how by learning about it does it just help you out? So I'm hoping that helps people out. It helped me out learning about some of the things that people do. It was very inspiring. Early, I have a keen interest and liking of bicycles, and even though it feels like I never get a chance to ride, But just the ability to like work on a bike just brings me happiness. Hearing that fellow, what was his name?
Patrick?
Patrick.
Patrick
who-
Lucas.
Thanks, Bridget.
Mm-hmm.
It was inspiring to building trails.
Oh, the trails.
And the idea of engaging with community to inspire other people to build trails. And it just makes me think about the act of doing and then giving is such a big path to wellness. I worry that this is a big picture thing, that we can feel all hard done by as Indigenous peoples and expect to have something given to us. I find that I get quite a lot more by making something and giving to others, and the lessons and the learnings and the wellness that I get is huge from that. I just wonder about how we could facilitate that when working with people, the creating and then the sharing. I think that's like giving a blanket as an Indigenous ceremony. That's meaningful to me, right? Like we give blankets for lots of things, right? People going into ceremonial roles. We give blankets to graduates who are moving from one stage of life to another. These are major things. You get a Pendleton blanket, like any of these here. It's significant, right? It's an act of sharing and act of gifting, and that supplies lots of wellness through it symbolizes relationship, but also it's a giving. I want to explore more of that next go around.
That was also coming up in, was it Jared Youngman's movie making, and the one you did with the skateboard. What was it?
Stewart?
Yeah, Stewart.
Both of them had turned their hobby into a way of
Giving
both
back.
engaging youth, and providing a vehicle for expression and a group, another kind of an in to connect with a bunch of other folks around a shared hobby or shared creative act. I mean, some of those things, it was weird, right? Because this podcast idea got conceptualized like in the middle of the lockdown, like the harshest lockdown. And by the time that we were recording a lot of the videos, it was starting to wane. It was like we were just starting to go back. So we were getting kind of I would say a little bit more of an adapted perspective. People had already been kind of working through it, getting used to it. Maybe if we would have started shooting right in the beginning, everyone would have been freaking out and not doing well. But by the time that we connected with folks, people had already kind of adapted their habits and hobbies.
Well, people have found things to do, I think. And so that was beneficial for all of us, is to tap into those people's built activities and their experiences and their reflections. So so it's opportunistic.
Everybody started had all this time, and they weren't commuting, weren't making excuses to stay at work late. That's why the cost of plywood almost doubled, and alcohol sales went up like 40%. I guess that second one is not really a constructive.
Big picture, I think, talking to all these people, we all learned a new set of skills, or skills that we, some we may not be interested in, some we may be interested in. And I think it's just a great way to introduce people to things that maybe they never thought of before, different tactics or strategies to be well, that they never thought was possible, or they didn't have they felt they didn't have access to it. Like, hopefully some of the things that we talked about maybe made strategies to be well more accessible to people. I think big picture, that was the hope. And I think we did a semi all right job. It's on YouTube. That's accessible. It's information. It's circulating new information. Yeah. Anybody else?
No, just you.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. I think whether or not it catches anybody's ears, but at least like we sent that out. I think to the extent that I think I was at ACES, American Indian Science and Engineering Conference, and I was taking pictures and the whole time and sending them to Lindsay, because there's actually a handful of different native health podcasts that have come out across North America this last decade or so. And so I don't remember the name of it now, and I feel like a schmo for not for mentioning and not being able to call it out, but I said, "Hey, you guys got a podcast?" They're like, "Yeah," and I said, "Oh, that's cool. We got a podcast too." And they're like, "Oh, we have all these guest speakers," and I'm like, "Oh," I go, "Well, we've just been eating chicken wings and talking to people." But I think that in so much as that we're joining forces with a zeitgeist or a movement of a bunch of other people who are thinking along the same lines, right? That we're kind of adding to that, like larger, kind of more publicly accessible, more friendly, kind of a different way of getting health information out there that's like Indigenous specific, Indigenous doctors, thought leaders in health, people who are, and nurses and just the whole gamut of different health practitioners. And I think ours was cool because our slice of the pie, it wasn't emphasizing that perspective, right? It wasn't like just more health information, like translating a research article or something. It was much more grassroots, much more. So I think that was cool in terms of the big picture stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of like a two-eyed seeing approach, where we're giving Indigenous-led information that's also, backed up a little bit with scientific knowledge found within Western studies and Western schools of thought. So I don't know. I think it just is. I don't know where I was going with that. Two-eyed seeing. That's my 2 cents.
We didn't do the research first, though, right? It wasn't like we had said, "Oh, here's our evidence-based practices, and now let's find someone to talk about each thing." It was much more in reverse. We prioritized people's stories above that. Mm-hmm. And then once they said, "This is what I do for wellness," we'd say, "Okay, what can we find on there?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would have to say that our podcast, in my
humble opinion,
very humble, very honest,
so humble.
Very honest, very small,
and non-biased as well.
Non-biased, non-prejudiced, and not racist.
Oh, definitely.
Opinion is, I think that we were achieving a way to build relationship with knowledge and with people. The way that people engaged with what they did, and then the conversations that we could have with them really was about relationship, and and the connection with them and what they do and the knowledge that's there was part of how we navigated. But we had to do it in a way that was real, and so that's why all the chicken wings and fart jokes and goofiness, because that's just the way we ought to do it. That's what worked for us, and that loosened us up. That loosened up the people that we were chatting with, and made it fun. Because if you can't have fun in life, then you're always serious, and what does that facilitate in your life if you never laugh, right? I mean, never laugh at the things that you do. And I mean, Adam likes to laugh at other people, and I think that's probably disadvantageous to his health in the big picture. But
I don't know. It's a laugh is a laugh.
True. There is research that shows that just like forced laughing facilitates better wellness. Like even making
faking
yourself. I'm not. I totally read this article in preparation for a documentary that I was an official doctor voice on. And yes, there is research that shows that just forcing yourself to laugh facilitates better wellness in your life. So in our case,
I'll
we
still
didn't
take
have
a real laugh over a fake laugh, though.
True.
Yeah.
But when you're not around, I have to just force myself to laugh.
You know what? When you're dropping your jokes, sometimes I gotta.
That was just a forced laugh.
I mean, I'm pretty young. I've experienced like a bit of an emotional roller coaster over COVID, and like I feel like I went through like, especially at the beginning, like just like periods of like extreme like cynicism about like the world, and just like hating everything, or just being like generally, you know, a downer kind of person, right? But like I think like when the world looks really ugly and the situation around you looks, you know, uncertain, I think it's like really important to go and scale down and look at these like small things in your life or in the world that like you can extrapolate like beauty and knowledge from. And you know, yeah, again, like even just small things like swimming in a cold lake, like that can be like a profound experience for somebody. And like I am not personally like probably gonna do cold water swimming, just because like I'm just too lazy, I think. You know, like maybe I'll fill up a bathtub with some ice or something.
It's a real trend right now.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you can buy those home units where it looks like a fancy bathtub, but like it'll supercharge the water to be super cold.
Wow. Well, regardless, I think like
oh yeah, big picture. Well said though, man. Earlier, before you went into the not responding to emails thing, that was real well said.
Well, like I think, yeah, again, it's about, you know, you got to scale it back. I totally forgot like the train of thought I was on before, right? But I don't know. I think that like it says a lot to like, you know, people's resilience, that like, you know, they can find like such like, you know, I guess like meaning and like solace and like things that other people would just see as like innocuous activities or whatever, right? And that's something I've like thought about a lot like for a while, but
I think these are all legit things. Like,
I'm not saying they're not legit.
No, I think they just represent how legitimate these things are for wellness, right?
Like I'm not saying that stuff's stupid or anything, or like
you better not be.
anything like you know what I mean. Like I love stupid things that other people do not understand, and I've come to the point where I'm like, I don't really need to explain this to people, because I can't. It, you know, it does something for me, and it's important for me, and like it doesn't really matter if other people understand it or not, because it's like what makes my life meaningful and what makes me happy.
Are you listening to this? He's talking to you directly.
I'm not talking about him.
We should leave.
But you know what I mean? But like,
then we're going to talk about the birds and the bees.
Listen, your hopes and dreams are stupid. You gotta stop.
Just like, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is like, you know, don't dismiss other people when they're passionate about other things, and like try to understand like why they might be passionate about it, and what is the beauty that they see in it. Because like I think like when we are dismissive about things, we tend to limit ourselves, and we limit our own ability to have new experiences and find things that we ourselves might find beautiful and might make our lives better, right? Like yeah. I'm just like, you know, saying be an open person, you know.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. Just give it a shot, you know.
I think my point was that I agree. But the smallest thing could be the biggest thing for one's wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And cherish all of them. Whether it's like working with a bead or whatever, a bicycle, or
and then like
jumping into a cold lake.
And then kind of going outward helps you to go back inward.
Well, so for anybody that actually, are we going to edit this into a short, or are we just going to keep it as is? Because
why?
Because if anybody stays this long on the podcast, they got a few good moments to laugh at us, or with us, or at least at Adam.
Oh.
So my last words are: it was really great to work with all of these people, all these jokers. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking with people. I enjoyed having a thread of conversations that... where are you going, Adam?
I just thought this was where you rambled and I'd turn it off.
You're doing a good job.
All right.
Stay excellent.